the seriousness of the situation we have at hand when it comes to mental illness and the widespread of it now more so than ever. We're living in a society that's comfortable with toxic conditions that we become used to it. Like it's literally the norm to deal with certain behavioral traits that should automatically be red flagged as dangerous. So, in certain instances, of when people are showing traits of mental illness, we automatically shrug it off as to nothing serious, or oh, this person is not to be taken seriously and they're just talking. But in the same instance, we see so many cases of things that should have not been ignored, that was ignored, and it's too late to act on it because this person has now committed a crime. This person has now um, shot up a school. This person has now blown up a church. This person has now killed their spouse or killed their parents. But the whole time, this person has been showing traits that we ignored. And we have a system that allows you to only make report. You're only able to make reports of a person sending you threatening messages or threatening you in person. You're only able to make a report of that. And nothing can be done until a person takes action against actually fulfilling those threats. In that case, it's too late, right? When we could have took it serious, when the person made the threat, held the person accountable for their words so that their actions could have been prevented. Now a person has lost their lives because the action that we could have taken was not taken when the person made that threat. I really don't get it. I don't get it at all. I'm all about taking preventive measures for things not to happen. Why do we step up after something has taken place already? It's too late. Why not set up a proper system to prevent certain things from happening, especially when there's evidence proving that something could happen, even if it's based off of a person's words? Words have power. Words are said through emotions. Emotions are the first step in even wanting to take action to do certain things. That's the driving force. Emotions is the driving force behind any action. So if a person is moved to speak certain words to even threaten a person's life or to bring harm to a person, that should be taken seriously. We should not take that so lightly have we been taking it. We have seen many, many times again where we could have took action against something based off of someone's words, but we decided not to, or we put the person through hell to get protection in the first place. What the hell is a protection order, really? What is it? It's not true protection. If a person is making a threat to harm somebody or to kill someone, they should be immediately taken into custody. Period. No questions asked. And especially if you have the proof of it, you have the evidence of this person threatening you. Why are they able to roam free to give them? Why are they able to roam freely to give them the chance to actually take steps to fulfill their words? It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. What are the similarities between psychopaths, sociopaths, and narcissists? They lack the ability to empathize with another person. And when you lack empathy, you're unable to sympathize with your actions, how your actions affect another person. They are unable to see a person from their shoes, from the other person's shoes or the other person's point of view when it comes to how their treatment of them affects the other person. When a person lacks empathy, they lose the ability to relate to another person. Relationships is all about relating, being able to relate to a person. Without being able to relate to another person, there is no relationship. It's manipulation and control. And that's what we see in so many relationships today, because so many people have these underlying conditions and they don't know they have it. Psychopath, sociopath, and narcissism. These are the underlying conditions that causes a person to lack empathy, that causes a person's inability to relate to another human. And on the other side of the spectrum is the people who are dealing with these people who are unable to relate. They so-called are in a relationship with these people with these underlying conditions, but the whole time they're dealing with hell with this person. Manipulation, control, lack of emotions, lack of vulnerability. Even when the person is pretending to show some type of emotional affection or whatever, it's all an act, because deep down inside they really do not give a damn about the other person's well-being or the other person's feelings, because that's what relationships are about. It's about understanding, it's about compromising. So how can a person who is dealing with someone who have these underlying conditions and may not know about it, how are they able to protect themselves from even being in a relationship like that or getting out of a relationship like that? Because at that point, once you're in the relationship, it's hard to see that you're dealing with something like that, because at that point you're so mentally, emotionally traumatized, drained, that you don't even have the strength to realize that you are in a dangerous situation. So a lot of times these people are stuck, and then the person manipulates them to stay. They either manipulate them to stay by love bombing them to staying, or gaslighting them in order for them not to leave, or blackmailing them. Or if you have children with the person, then that's a whole nother hell to deal with. And the system doesn't help you with situations like this. There's nothing in the system that has a program to help you co-parent with a person who has an underlying condition that may not have it proven yet. But how can you prove it? And when you have it proven, what are the steps after that to prevent you from dealing with the continual hell, putting yourself and your children in a dangerous situation with a person like this? What can you do? What can we create? What can we do to change these conditions? So many people over the world are dealing with situations like this and don't even know the severity of what they're dealing with. And let's not forget about the effect of what it's doing to the children that are stuck in situations like this. What are the damaging effect that it's going to cause on the children long term. Narcissist creates more narcissists, which is why we see a society full of narcissists and we don't even know it. There are literally so many people with these conditions and don't even know it. So many people are dealing with people with their conditions and don't even know it. They think it's normal conditions to deal with a person manipulating, controlling them, and threatening them on a regular basis, abusing them emotionally, physically, sexually. This has been deemed a normal part of life for many, many families all over the world. And we wonder why, as adults, we're not able to relate anymore because we didn't know our parents had the condition of narcissism. Or one parent or a caregiver may have had it because their parents passed down the traits to them. And I'm not talking about DNA traits of it. It's all of learned behavior pattern and also a coping mechanism to the traumas that was dealt with in childhood that even created the whole situation or the condition in the first place. So now we have young children who have dealt with this situation since birth or saw the conditions of their parents' relationship that caused them trauma, which is going to affect them in the long run. How do we prevent them from learning these same behavioral patterns, coping mechanisms? How do we help them? What can we do to prevent them from learning the same behavioral traits as an adult? Or even not even just as an adult, throughout their childhood up to adulthood. And then they have the same relationship patterns that manifest in their lives because of it. How do we prevent that from happening? I wanted to make this very clear. People can have behavioral traits of narcissism, but not necessarily be a narcissist, because they could have learned the behavior as a coping mechanism from dealing with a narcissist. So there's a difference between having narcissistic traits and being a narcissist. Because when it becomes the actual condition of narcissism is when you've learned the trait and the behavior pattern over a long period of time where it becomes chronic and where you actually not aware of what's taking place and you don't take accountability. If you still have the ability to empathize and take accountability, relate, and take accountability for your actions to even realize there's a problem, then there's still hope for you. But if you are not able to empathize, relate, or take accountability to even see that you have an issue, then you're a narcissist. And that's when intensive treatment, therapy is needed at that point. That's when you know you're dealing with a narcissist, because a narcissist don't know they're a narcissist. The number one remedy for treating and preventing narcissism or preventing psychopaths and sociopaths is to learn how to process your emotions. We have to learn how to process our emotions, because emotions undealt with becomes triggers. It becomes barriers. It becomes blocks that prevent us from healing, growing, developing, developing the skills we need in order to relate with other individuals on a regular basis in everyday life. There's no way that we can go throughout life without communicating, without compromising, without trusting, without respecting anybody in the world. Is a part of everyday life. Relating with another human being is a part of everyday life, and majority of the world are not able to relate and have normal relationships. So if you ask me, this is seriously, I would say, a true pandemic if you really think about it, because it's dangerous. It's the it's the diminishing of our relationships. How can we go throughout life without being able to relate? And it makes it scary for the individuals who are able to hold regular conversations, able to relate to other people, but at the same time, the other person is not able to relate and reciprocate these same normal skills back to them. So it's kind of like, who do I relate to? Who's able to relate to me just the same? So this is something really, really we should take seriously, especially now, because we're shifting over into a new paradigm, and a lot of people are healing. A lot of people are taking the steps necessary in order to heal. But at the same time, we have so many other people who are not taking accountability for the fact that they need healing, or are unaware of that they need healing. So in that instance, what do we do, or what are we able to do to either help these people realize they need help, or to even get these people help, even if they don't realize it? So what can we do in that aspect?